We're talking Philly sports.
The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
And New York sports.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
And the unique history and relationship between the two cities. With Mike Carr.
You're so money and you don't even know it.
And Adam Turkel.
I agree. Nobody's madder about than I am. They're going to say that, and I'm going to look at them and say, "Hi, you're right."
This is the Battle for I-95 podcast, starting now.
All right, welcome to the Battle for I-95 podcast. I am your host, Adam Turkel. My partner, Mike Carr, will be joining shortly. He's running a little behind schedule during this busy holiday season. As always, the Battle for I-95 podcast is brought to you by Easy Moving. Moving's hard enough. Do it the easy way, servicing Fairfield, Connecticut, and removal in New York. And here we are, episode 26, the week after Thanksgiving. We didn't have an episode last week because of Thanksgiving. Obviously, busy. Everybody doing their thing. And we'll pick up today where we left off. And since I'm starting with a monologue myself, I'm going to start with talking about the current baseball situation, which is free agency. And as it pertains to the Yankees, none other than Mr. Juan Soto. So rumors have been flying around everywhere. And it seems that there was a 5-team list of what appears to be the 5 quote-unquote finalists for Mr. Soto. And the Yankees, the Mets, the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, and the Phillies were in for a minute. Don't seem that he has interest in Philadelphia. So we're going to count them out for now. And there's always the overhang of the possibility of the Dodgers, who just seem to sign everybody and just don't care. Like, they'll defer money. They signed Blake Snell now to go along with their already all-star laden team. And they gave him, what a surprise, a deferred contract. Listen, the deferred contract, I can't hate on the Dodgers for coming up with this because they've used it a couple of times now. But I have a big problem with this. And the big problem is that by doing this, the Dodgers are basically circumventing the salary cap structure of the taxable levels that they have. So there's a first tax threshold, there's a second tax threshold, which they call, quote unquote, the Cohen tax. And the Dodgers are getting away with getting all these big players to big money. And since they're deferring the money, it's not all counting against that soft cap. And they're basically getting out of all the taxes. Listen, Major League Baseball has to do something about it. They have to figure out a solution to this. It can't be, because now what's going to be the point of this salary tax threshold if everybody's going to circumvent it by deferring contracts now? It doesn't make any sense. It's stupid. So Major League Baseball is going to have to react, I'm guessing, after this free agency period, maybe, because now this is 2 free agency periods in a row in which the Dodgers have circumvented the tax structure by deferring these contracts. Ohtani, $700 million, but being paid $2 million a year with the rest being deferred. It's an absolute joke. So obviously they're going to be in on Soto because they're in on everybody. Now the numbers that are flying around are just absolutely insane. They are talking numbers of $700 million, 15 years, 650, 13 years. I mean, numbers that are crazy. And I never begrudge a player making what he can make, but how much is enough, man? When is somebody going to put an end to this madness? Now, I want you to think about this out there in Battle for I-95 land, okay? 15 years. Juan Soto is going to get a contract until I am 70. Until I'm 70, right? And he's going to have opt-outs in the middle because I'm sure he wants them. You see, players want their cake and they want to eat it too. They want the long contract for the security, but they want the opt-outs in case they're really banging it and they can go get themselves a raise. And it is just so diluted now, the way it's done. It's owners tripping over themselves to pay out tons of money. And, you know, people are going to say, well, the owners make all the money. Why shouldn't the players make that much money? I'm not against the players making money. I'll tell you what I am against. I'm against $15 beers. I'm against $12 hot dogs. I'm against $180 tickets. All these things that are charged to the fan to pay these big contracts. And there's a trickle-down effect. It's not about the money they're getting from the owner, you morons. It's about the money they're getting from you. From you, John Q. Public, the one who is spending all this gobbo to go to games and buy paraphernalia and buy food and buy beer and this and that. And those prices go up every time someone gives out a ridiculous contract. And this contract is probably going to be the most ridiculous one we've seen yet. Now, it's a real interesting point with Juan Soto from a Yankee perspective. You had him here for a year. Him and Judge batting back-to-back was Mantle Maris-ish. Soto had his best year hitting in front of Judge. Judge had a big year with 58 home runs. Soto hits 40. They both have WARs of over 9. Best 1-2 punch that's been seen in the game probably since Canseco McGuire back with the A's when they first both came around. But, and there's a big but, never mind is any player worth the amount of money he's going to make. And you're talking $50 million a year to play a game. Okay? Not only is no player worth that. Excuse me. And what Juan Soto does, he does as well as anyone. And that's working at bat. Pressure doesn't seem to affect him. He's just as good in the postseason as he is in regular season. His at-bats are just as precise. When it comes to that point of his game, he may be one of the best out there right now. But as Brandon Tierney said on WFAN, he is not some generational player. He's not. He's a career 285 hitter. I watched Juan Soto for a whole season. Basically, I'll say out of 162 games, 155 games I watched. He's not an average outfielder. He's a below average outfielder. He'll make a spectacular play once in a while. He'll blow a routine play more than once in a while. He'll misread a ball. He'll step in when it's going over his head. He'll step out quick and then have to come in and it'll drop in front of him because he took a wrong step. He's a below average outfielder, and he's not a good base runner, and he's not very fast. So Juan Soto is all about on-base percentage. He walks a ton. He gets a lot of hits. Hitting in front of Aaron Judge, he's likely going to be a 300 hitter, if not better. He's going to get his walks may cut down a little bit because I know people are going to be, pitching around Soto to get the Judge too much, unless it's the playoffs, but that's another story. But you're talking about paying $50 million a year for a player that is a one-side player. And what he does, he's great at. He's great at bats. He's an incredible hitter under any circumstances. He's the guy you want up with 2 outs in the 9th inning and the tying run on second base. But what he does poorly are things that cost the Yankees the World Series. I'm not saying he cost the Yankees the World Series. I'm saying that brand of play, poor defense, poor base running. So I have to beg the question of, as a Yankee fan, do I really want Juan Soto? Is it really that big of a deal if they don't get him at that price? Now, the Yankees have many more holes other than just getting Soto. And if they do sign Soto, my fear is they're not going to do a lot else. Maybe they'll pull off a trade somewhere. They're not going to look to add more heavy salary. which means a lot of young guys are going to be playing. So you're basically going to have a heavy dose of what we got this year. You're going to get Juan Soto and Aaron Judge against the world. You know, when Garrett Cole pitches, it'll be Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, and Garrett Cole against the world. Listen, Volpe's a good player. He's not the greatness we were hoping he was going to turn into, but he looks like he's be a major. Oh! Cut me in the middle of my monologue, you douche face.
Yeah, monologue.
Yeah, we are live already, Mike. I've already been.
I know.
Talking about,
Listen.
I've been talking about Juan Soto, and you know the pungent fact of whether it's a Yankee fan, if at the number that's being commanded, if I really want him. You know, now I'm talking from a Yankee fan perspective, Mike. Right?
Yeah, right.
It's such a double-edged sword. You had him for a year, and playing with Aaron Judge, it was Mantle and Maris-ish. You know, you had these two monster hitters back to back, but you had a poor defensive team, a poor base running team. That all showed up in the World Series. It basically cost them the World Series. And I know the Yankees are not, you know, Hal is not his father. So if he spends all this money on Juan Soto, there's going to be a lot of young guys playing too. And it's going to be a lot of Soto and Judge. And when Cole pitches, Cole against the world. So at 15 years, these are the numbers going now, Mike. 15 years, $700 million is what I'm hearing, right? Do I really want Juan Soto at that number when he's a bad defender and a poor base runner, and I don't think he's going to age well because he's not fast or good defensively?
No.
Would I rather get 4 players? Yes, I think I would, Mike.
Yeah, it's and what we're looking at now is this new thing where they get signed for 15 years, and then 5 years in they want a new contract.
Well, you know what's going to be in his contract, no matter who signs him, Mike. The player wants. I just said this too. It's funny you just said that. I literally just said it on the broadcast. The player wants his cake and wants to eat it too. He wants a long contract for security, but he wants the opt-out at 4 years in case he's having a banging year so he can re-up and give himself a raise. But motherfucker, do you deserve a raise of $50 million a year? Mike, it's not about the owner of your team's money or Hal's money. It's about your money and my money. My $15 beer and $12 fucking hot dog that is because of the Juan Sotos of the world.
Oh, we'll get into that in just a little bit, but yeah, you're absolutely right. And the whole opt-out thing is not opt-out. Basically the out of their contract in the middle of a contract. When you agree to a contract, you agree to so many years. Now you get options. There's player options, and
that's what he wants.
In the middle, he
wants a player opt-out.
I think that's where we got to start drawing the line.
Juan Soto's 26. He wants $700 million, $50 million a year. So let's say he has an opt-out after 5 years. That means he's made $250 million, and now he's going to try to get a raise at 30 years old, which at 30 years old, he won't be old yet. He will get that raise. He will.
If he's still hitting the way that he's heading.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. And the hot word is now it's a 3-team race. It's the Yankees, it's the Mets, it's the Red Sox. I can't believe the Red Sox are involved in this, right? This is irking the shit out of me. Supposedly he doesn't want to do Philly, he doesn't want to do Toronto, and he doesn't want to do LA, right?
Why would he want to? Like I told you in a prior episode, why would he want to do Philly? He played with all these guys before.
Well, right. So
they won 1 championship, and that was after Bryce left.
Right. And the point with Soto is that, all right, so if it's really the Yankees, the Mets, and the Red Sox, it's the Yankees and their 2 most hated rivals, right? So now from Juan Soto's perspective, no matter which of the other 2 you go to, if you leave the Yankees, you're the most hated Yankee enemy for the next 15 years. Understand, every time you get your ass within 5 miles of that stadium, the boos are going to be so loud it's going to cripple you. So I don't know if Soto has the personality to want to deal with that because he seems like the guy that likes to be loved. He really enjoyed the bleacher creatures going nuts on him and this and that and all the other stuff, right? So
$50 million, I'm stuffing my ears with $20 bills.
Dude, I don't want. I'm going to tell you something. I say this honestly. If it comes out to be 15 years, $700 million with an opt out at year 4, year 5, I don't want him. You can have him. I don't want him. Not at that number, not under those terms, even at the risk of not having Maris and Mantle. I'd rather go get the 4 players and make my team a better team. I'd rather do that.
Yeah, but the Yankees are there's a star. They go after the big number. They got money's not an object. It's not a thing. We'll go get the guy because you know what? Like us, you're going to go to the fucking
Ball game over. Yankees win.
I haven't heard that in a while.
Yankees win.
I haven't heard that in a while.
It's been a while. We're in baseball offseason. It's been a while.
Yeah.
You know, I got to tell you, Mike, I want it over now. I'm kind of done with it. You know what I mean? Like, the word is that he's probably going to make a decision this weekend. Bro, just make a decision already. Who you're robbing. Let's find out who you're robbing. Whose fan base is going to go up $2 on every item they buy to pay you. Let's find out how it's going to happen. When are these owners going to stop, Mike? When are they going to turn around and say, that's too much?
When they're the smaller market. That's when they do that. When you're the A's, they're not even the Vegas A's, they're not the Oakland A's. They got no money.
Yet they just signed Luis Severino to 3 years. You want to hear a funny thing?
What they sign? How much?
3 years, $67 million. It's the largest guaranteed contract in A's history.
Yeah. What?
Compared to these other teams, like what the Yankees have with Judge and Stanton, and you got with Harper, and what? 3 years, 67 is the biggest in your franchise's history?
And that's
really?
why nobody remembers. Nobody knows who they are.
Unbelievable. So the Soto thing hopefully comes to an end this weekend, Mike. I'm kind of done with it at this point. I want to see what the Yankees are going to do with the rest of the team. I'm afraid if they get Soto, I'm going to have one kid at first base and some minor player at third base, and Aaron Judge is going to be playing center field again so he can look terrible, and Juan Soto is going to be in right field so balls can fly over his head, and they're going to get some ancillary left fielder, mid-range left field. The thing that scares me about Soto is they're going to get Soto and do nothing else, and that's not enough.
Oh.
That didn't win you the World Series last year, bro.
No, right, but I mean that's spending all the money that they're buzzing.
And yet the Dodgers keep doing what they do. They go get Blake Snell, and what do?
Oh my God!
Defer the contract. When are the rules going to come in to stop this circumventing of the salary tax structure? Because that's what the Dodgers are doing. They're fucking everyone real good right now with these contracts.
Yeah, but now at the end of the day, could this turn into like a Bobby Bonilla situation?
It will. It's intended to. But who cares? But who cares? I mean, it's about. Listen, the Dodgers are fielding a team that has 7 All-Stars on it, basically, and they're not past the second tier of salary tax. That's circumventing the system. They are circumventing the system. They're avoiding getting penalized in taxes and willing to pay it later because they'll pay a less price later because the tax won't be on top of it.
What the fuck?
What? Mike, we got to hit it. It's got to be a what the fuck moment. It really does. I mean, I don't understand how you do this.
What the fuck?
Twice.
What the fuck?
3 times. Like, I don't get how it's okay. How does Major League Baseball not say, "Oh, guys, this isn't the spirit of the tax. So your whole contract, deferred or not, is going to be cut into prorated per year and taxed." That's how it should be. Right?
Yeah, it's something. But this was also what, even when I was younger, we wanted for the Yankees too, because it just seemed like the Yankees in the 90s and the 2000s, early 2000s, were
But they
just
didn't
buying
circumvent the rule. But they didn't circumvent the rules.
No,
They
no,
paid
I'm
the
not saying
money.
that they're circumventing the rules, but
That's the
you're
difference,
begging
Mike.
for the.
Mike,
Oh my God!
You're
can
a
we
Philly
get something
fan.
in here?
You're a Philly fan.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I got no problem with your team spending whatever money it wants to spend, right? As long as they pay the taxes according to the rules and structure in place. That's what the Yankees did in the 90s and 2000s when they kept replenishing the core four, when they got the Darryl Strawberry. Down the road, they got David Justice. They went and got Roger Clemens and so on and so forth. They paid their taxes and what they had to do for going over their tax level. The Dodgers are skating that. That's the problem. My problem is not that they're buying players, Mike. My problem is that they're buying players and breaking the rules to not pay the tax for the players.
Right. Okay. Right. But
buy who you want.
That's one of the things, like I was saying though, that it was like, yo, I mean, these guys could just spend whenever they want as long as they pay the money. And it's not fair to the other teams because it's just the owner, whoever has the gold, makes the rules.
I think it's imminent in the next 5 years, maybe 10 max. There's going to be a work stoppage in baseball because the owners are going to draw the line and say we have to have a salary cap.
Good.
I don't see any way around it. Yeah. I really don't. And the other three major sports, four if you include soccer, which isn't really major in this country, but the four of the major sports, including soccer, all have salary cap structure. And in baseball, they're going to say, well, you're trying to prevent the player from making money. The NBA has a hard salary cap. Hard. And you got guys making $60 million a year.
Right.
The money will find its way to the big players, Mike.
Right.
I think it's imminent. I don't think there's any way around it.
We'll see. All you can do is just we are just a peon in this whole thing. We're barely a peon.
I'm just an angry fan that can't afford to go to games, Mike. That's what I am. I'm an angry fan that can't go watch a Jet game, that can only go to a Yankee game if somebody gives me tickets. And even then, between going to New York and, like I said, the $15 beer, the $12, if I want to have any fun there whatsoever, let's say my ticket is free, Mike, I still got to spend $1.50 per person for me and my wife to have a good time. Yeah. Easy. When we went to the Knicks Sixers game in the Wells Fargo Square Garden, it was, the prices there, and that's cheaper than New York.
I waiting for the segue in the NBA because I went to a Sixers game.
Oh, you went to a Sixers game? Oh, now we have to do this. Here we go.
Everybody for Philadelphia, 76ers.
Terrible theme song.
It's a great theme song.
They looked really great when the Knicks were running them up and down the court now in their own building again. They look great. I love it.
We, a friend of mine had I wouldn't call them floor seats. It was right behind the where the hockey rink started.
Nice. Okay.
So, I was 4 rows off of. I was looking at Nick Nurse.
Okay.
Right across from me. So
Who are they playing that night? Who are they playing?
Houston.
Okay.
They took it to overtime. No Joel Embiid, no Paul George. But we'll start with the ticket prices. I don't even know how much it was. I didn't even want to look at it.
Floor seats, $250 a pop, probably at least.
A buddy of mine bought it for his kid and his kid's 2 cousins from his ex's side, and the kid was bad. So, taking your tickets away. How's that? And he called me and 2 other buddies up. We went. And I didn't even – I just gave him my card, the first beer.
You didn't even want to look at it.
I didn't even want to look.
You want to know.
Give me two beers. That's it.
That's kind of what I did when I got the club seats there. I didn't even look. I was like, just give me the seats. Come on.
So halftime we come up. I go, let's try the Wells pizza. Waiting in line. Slice of pizza I already looked up. $11.50.
Yeah, for a slice.
For a slice. Okay. And I go, you know what? I'm not really in the mood for beer anymore. I'll have one of those high noons, the vodka sodas. So
I got when I was there. I got they had Arizona mango alcohol things.
the hard tea, yeah.
Yeah, they were only $15 each.
So yeah, so the two you already know what the slice costs, plus the two high noons. You know the big guys. How much?
$60.
$63.
Am I on that or what?
$63. I'm sorry, I only wanted two beers and the one slice, which is
Like, that's what you got. Yeah.
it's $63. I went,
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah. That's Joel Embiid's contract. That's Paul George's contract. And the one that Maxi's going to get soon. That's what that is.
Just give me the fucking thing. And then I'm sitting there drinking it because they are driving nuts. I also put a couple bets in too during the game, which flunked all three of them. All three of them. I had Andre Drummond getting over 12 rebounds. He had 4 rebounds in the first quarter. Within the first 5 minutes of the game. The whole third quarter, he's sitting there with a massage gun on his leg. And he looks over. He keeps looking over this way. I was like, don't fucking look at me. Get your ass back out the corner. Go grab some ribbies. So they ultimately lost in overtime.
What a surprise.
Yeah.
I'm going to cheer you up, though, Mike. Okay? And the
They won 5 games so far.
The Knicks started 5-6, and in their last 11, they're 9-2, and they're looking like the team I thought they were going to turn into.
Well, yeah.
Let me tell you something. I told you when the trade happened, I liked the Karl Anthony Towns trade, but I was a little skeptical. This man's a dog, bro. He is a rebounding, scoring, attention-grabbing, must guard him. Brunson's averaging like 12 assists a game with him in it. I mean, the Knicks, over their last 11 games, are averaging 130 points a game.
It's no small number.
Yo, that's, I mean, they can, when they are on, I don't know, I think that they're going to outscore teams like the Celtics. I do think so. Just because they have more pieces to score with. Your boy Cam Payne, who we took from your team last year, has been lighting it up. I mean, he comes off the bench and he drops 4 threes like that. Boom. I'm like, yo, I don't remember him looking like this last year. I remember being a little bit of a pain in the ass, but not dropping threes at that rate. And now they're about to get Precious Achua back. And Mitch Robinson's expected back in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And the only issue with the Knicks to this point has been defensively a little bit, but who needs defense when you're outscoring teams putting up 130 points a game, right? But now you're going to add off the bench some solid-ass defense coming in the game. The Knicks are scary, Mike. The Knicks have a chance. They really do.
I wish I could say the same about my guys.
You haven't really seen your guys, though. They don't fucking play, Mike.
Yeah. But that's the sad part is when we're cheering MVP for a guy who we picked up from the Olympics. That's the only reason why we picked him up. The French guy.
It's not what you want.
No. I mean, that guy's at the free throw line. And listen, the guy can play. I don't think he's a I don't think he's a he's not like a guy that you form a team around. But I mean, the guy puts up points, and
he's a nice ancillary piece if your whole team was there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the McCain is looking good. I mean, that game against the Houston, he couldn't fucking buy a 3-pointer.
What's the record now, Mike? Where's the record with Philly?
5-15.
Ugh. That's ugly.
It's basketball, man. You can be 500 and make the playoffs.
Bro, that's a quarter of the season, though. You're 10 games under.
It's not good. It's not good. They have these glimpses like, oh man, they can't miss. Sub them out. Get them. Sub
When
them
the
out.
Knicks, when the Knicks went into Philly, the Knicks ran them out of the building. I mean, completely. Like the game was not competitive, which surprised me. You know,
They
I
don't
thought
play. Only a couple guys can play defense, and the other guys just kind of stand in the way. But also, you know, you get a foul every time you breathe on somebody anymore.
Well, that's the nature of the NBA now.
Yeah.
And while we're talking about the nature of the NBA, right? Listen, as much as I love the Knicks are putting up these numbers and everything, it's too out of control. So I got a statistic for you. In 1997, the average three-pointers per game for a team was 14.4.
A game?
A game. The average now is almost 38 shots per game per team.
Yeah.
It's gotten out of control, and I think I have a solution. I never bring you problems without a solution.
This is true. All right.
You extend the three-point line by 3 feet and eliminate the corners. Goodbye. So now only the real three-point shooters, the Currys of the world, are going to really be able to take advantage of it because every shot's going to be a 27 to 30-foot shot, and the corners are gone. Now it's only from...
Why would we take away the corners?
Because if you're extending it 3 feet, that's going to be in 2-point territory now. So the beginning of 3-point territory is basically going to start at the edge of the wings and work its way to the top of the key. Because the 3-point corner shot is a joke, Mike. Everybody can hit it now. It's a joke. It really is. And the Knicks are as good as anyone at it, and I'm saying it. You know?
I feel like that's a really skilled shot.
It's a fucking easy shot that's 22 feet from the corner, Mike.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Move that back.
You can't. There's no room to move back. If you move it back,
the sideline
it's
back.
gone.
Make
That's
a
what I
bigger.
mean.
You got to make a bigger court.
No, you don't make. I mean,
Make a bigger court.
Mike, you sound like a guy from Philly now.
I
All right,
don't-
that's the dumbest thing you've said on this
I'm
show
not
in a
running.
month.
I'm not running fives
Make a
anymore. I don't
bigger
give a fuck
court.
what they do to that court.
You're not making a bigger court. You just get rid of the corner 3, extend the 3-point line 3 feet, and now real 3-point shooters are going to have to hit it. Not every Tom, Dick, and Harry that wants to chuck up one from the corner. All right? Corner's just going to be a 2-shot now. You want to sit in the corner? Sit in the corner. It's 2. As it should be. Because in the middle of the court, 22-footer is inside the 3-point line. That's what I'm saying that. That's inside the 3-point line around the rest of the court other than the corners. Eliminate the 22-point 3-point shot. 22-footer. That's what I say. That's me. That's the world according to Turk.
All right.
So-
Well, in a perfect world.
I'm always a perfect world. Don't you forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Knicks look good. Sixers look like shit. That all makes me happy. Bronny's son has been relegated to G League and is playing terribly there. I feel bad for JJ Redick. He took a really bad situation. They drafted a kid that shouldn't have been drafted just to placate his father. And, you know, I'm going to give you an example of a second-round player, Mike. You know, the Knicks have Deuce McBride. They used to have Emmanuel Quickly. These are guys drafted in the second round. You can get a good player in the second round.
You can.
And the Lakers basically wasted it. It.
It's just nepotism at its fullest, and it just shows that the NBA is the players' league. It has nothing to do with fans or, for love of the game. It has nothing to do about the game. It has everything to do about the player.
That's all it all has become, Mike. It's all about the money.
All the player, the name on the back, not the name on the front, and
yep,
get rich quick.
Yeah.
And it's one of the tougher leagues to get into because there's only 15 guys allowed on it, or 12 guys allowed on a
12
team.
on a team, right. The rosters are small.
Yeah. And those guys in the G League ain't making, they're probably making okay money.
They're making more than you and me, and they're just
making
playing
more
the G
than,
League. So,
and they play a game.
I would have loved to have made money to play a game, but,
Sheesh.
But anyway, let's get beyond that. So that's the basketball situation. We're a quarter of the way through the season.
Flyers are now tied with the Rangers.
And that was my next
Points.
subject. That was my next subject. There has not been a lot of this going on lately. No, because they can't score. So the Rangers, after starting off hot as could be, 12-2 to start the season, have completely flushed themselves into the shitter. They can't stop teams. They can't score goals. They've now put Trouba on the trade block. He's not active tonight due to roster alterations. That's the statement, which tells me he's being traded. Kreider being traded. They're going to rip this team apart and try to rebuild it on the fly because what they got right now
ain't working.
It's got, for some reason, Mika Zibanejad couldn't score in a whorehouse with $500 in his pocket right now. I mean, the guy can't get any points. He looks, Mike, how'd this guy suddenly look old? He looks like he can't skate anymore.
That's the fucking NHL, man.
I mean,
I don't know how many times the guys look great one season and then it comes out and, Shane Gostisbehere is going to be a big defender this year for the Flyers. And
the Rangers had the third shortest odds to win the Stanley Cup this year. Mike, I'm not sure if things don't change, they're going to make the playoffs. I mean, they look that bad right now. They're losing games to Philadelphia or Buffalo or, they're not losing just to Florida or Edmonton. They're losing to teams that shouldn't. And my dumb personal against your Flyers. Your team is not in the building stage where it should be beating the Rangers yet.
Flyers are flying.
Yet the Flyers are winning and the Rangers are losing every night, it feels. So I don't know what to think of the Rangers season. I got a feeling next time we do a show, it's going to be a very different team. Trade deadline's coming. Rangers look like they're ready to deal. Trouba has a partial no trade. I think that from what they said on FAN today, they basically told him, if you don't waive the no trade, we're going to put you on waivers, son. So that's how badly he's playing, that they're ready to put him on waivers. The captain is going to be put on waivers. So it's not looking good for the Rangers right now.
No.
The Knicks are saving my life because, as we know, the Jets are an absolute terrible joke of an embarrassment of a franchise led by an owner who, I wish Trump would have given him the freaking ambassador job again and sent his ass to England, because I can't even look at Woody anymore. He's so bad, it's not even funny. And the Jets go lose yet another game to Indianapolis. They lost to the bye. The bye beat them too. And it
the bye beat them too.
Yeah, the bye beat them. They missed the field goal against the bye, and the bye won also. So,
that's another great segue too.
Well, yeah, the segues are all over the place, Mike.
They're all over the place.
Here,
These are layups today.
Yeah. This is right where we are. So now we're going to segue into the NFL with the Jets, and the Jets being an unmitigated disaster, find a new way to lose a game every week. And the Jets are 3-9, Mike. Aaron Rodgers has played every fucking game, and they're 3-9. And in their 9 losses, I pick out 5 games, not that they could have, that they should have won.
Oh, yeah.
Should have. 2 that they missed field goals in. That would have been game-winning field goals. 1 giving up a length of the field drive to Jacoby Brissett and the hapless Patriots, who are another team that couldn't score in a whorehouse with $700. They give up a game-winning drive to Richardson, who hadn't played in 3 weeks, was benched for Flacco. This vaunted Jets defense gives it up like a hua on the street. Bro, they easily could be 7-5, 8-4.
Maybe above 500.
Easily. But the Jets,
you guys make Kyler Murray look like
they make the simple look difficult. So Kyler Murray made them look terrible. They got blown out by Arizona, right? They got blown out opening night by San Francisco, which doesn't look good now because San Francisco stinks, by the way.
If this
Right.
were college, it'd be a bad loss for you.
That's a bad loss
That's
now.
a
That's not a loss
bad
to a
loss
top
for you.
team. That's a loss to a team that's under 500.
But they at that time they were firing.
No, that's what they were
Cylinders.
expected to do. That was game one.
Yeah,
They were
they were
expected
firing
to be-
all cylinders. They had.
They weren't firing at anything. They've stunk all year. They lost the next week. No. So the Knicks are saving me from the doom of the Jets. You know, our friend
Maybe I
Frank.
should have said that the Jets weren't going to win 4 games instead of the Steelers.
Yeah. Meanwhile, our friend Frank, is sitting up there laughing at us.
He's cracking up right now.
I'm surprised he's not haunting your house after your prediction.
Now he's just sticking it to you. I don't know what I did.
I mean,
I was the one who
what?
said it.
I know. I don't understand. Why me? What? I mean, give me a break, brother.
That
I don't know
sounds
if
like
you
a
know-
typical Jets fan. Why me?
I don't know if you noticed, but I did put in the upper right-hand corner of
I
our
did. Yeah.
YouTube broadcast a little Frank Memorial picture, which will stay there. And as I said last time, as I heal a little more and can handle hearing his voice, I am going to add Frank cuts to the show, so he's a permanent part of the show. And we'll have some Frank sayings, to put up there. Yeah, so it'll be a nice honoring to him. And so the Jets are terrible. The Eagles, Saquon Barkley went from what I thought was the worst running back contract in history to what may have become the best running back contract in history. The dude has been so good that I just have to say I'm sorry I said what I said. It must have been the Giants, not him, because
Must have been.
he's healthy. He's running all over everyone. He runs through people. He runs around people. He don't care. He hurdles over people backwards, whatever. I mean, Barkley has just been unbelievable. And your team goes up against the Ravens, and people kind of thought that the Ravens were going to stick it to you guys. You're overrated. And
Missed field goals.
back-to-back weeks, you beat the Redskins, and then you go beat the Ravens. And now your team is sitting pretty atop the NFC East, 2 games, and a tiebreaker in front of Washington.
And second in the NFC.
And second in the NFC behind only the Lions. Do you play the Lions?
We do
I
not.
don't think so.
We do not.
You
Might
will.
We might have
If
to
you
go.
want to go to the Super Bowl, you will.
Good thing it's a dome.
Lions look good, Mike. The Lions
I
are
can tell you-
tough.
They are. I've been saying it since the beginning. They are a well-coached team.
Their coach has brass cojones, bro. He went on 4th down 5 times last night
Just because he can.
because he trusts his team.
Right. And meanwhile, we're chastising fucking Sirianni for going on 4th down. But it's different. It's completely different. They always say 4th downs. You go for it on 4th down.
What's your
damned if
team's
you do,
record?
damned if you don't.
What's
our
your team's record?
10-2.
Shut the fuck up! Shut up!
Why?
No complaints from 10-2 teams.
Of course you can.
No,
Can always be better.
no,
Should be fucking.
No!
No.
Mike.
Should
I
be
have
12-0.
Aaron Rodgers going on McAfee every week, and the man looks 875 years old all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I have a flawed team that commits the most penalties in the NFL, the most undisciplined group of guys I've ever seen in my life on a football field.
That's the water
You're
up there. man.
complaining on a 10-2 team. Shut up. Shut up.
Oh, that loss,
Mike, if you're up there, shut up.
that loss to the Buccaneers was terrible, and that loss to the Falcons was terrible.
You're not going to win every game, so you want 12-0, really?
We should be 12.
Oh, stop. Put
The
the
Buccaneers
crack pipe down
stink.
for a second. This is the NFL. Even
Oh.
bad teams beat good teams sometimes here.
Sometimes. That's why I'm calling Panthers winning this week.
No, you're doing that to mush your team because all your mushes have worked. You're the mush master. You really are. You're the fucking mush master
Fucking
right now.
love it, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I really do believe that these are the calls that I'm making.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that's what it is. Yeah, fuck you. So we only have like 4 weeks left in the season, Mike, unbelievably, right?
Yep.
And you have Buffalo running away with the East. They've already clinched. Pittsburgh starting to run away and hide in the North, which is shocking me. You got Kansas City, looks like they stink, and somehow they're 11-1. They're the worst 11-1 team I've ever seen, though.
Thank God for the Bills.
You know, and of course, you know, down south, you have that train wreck of a division that it seems nobody wants to win. But,
No.
you know, and then you got the NFC with the Eagles in control. The Lions, I guess, are kind of in control, but that whole division is damn good. You might get 3 teams from that division in the playoffs.
They're in
Matter of fact,
control, but
it's
they're all
likely. It's likely.
a game and a half, 2 games,
Yeah.
2.5 because they still need a.
And then the South stinks and the West stinks. You know, so you might get all the wild cards coming from the North. You might Washington and then 2 from the North is probably what you're going to get, right?
That's it. That's even if Washington.
They got to hold on. They have to hold on.
That's even I mean this little stretch that they've been on, they're starting to look like Washington again.
Well, I think some of it is that Jane Daniels has been a little banged up, so he doesn't look quite the same right now. Has not been as mobile, and he's been making some mistakes, maybe because he's feeling a little rushed because he's hurt. He's taken a little step back from how he started the season. That's for sure. But we'll see. I mean, the big games are coming up, and speaking of big games, we can start getting to it. And the first game on the list, and I know you're going to lie, but that's okay.
What?
The Eagles are at home.
Yeah.
Against arguably the worst team in the NFL.
Arguably.
And are 13.5-point favorites, which I believe is the biggest spread of the year.
Dude, you got to take that 13.
You're on crack.
You got to take that 13.
You're on crack. What makes you think that that's even going to be a game?
What do I believe that's going to be a game? Because the Eagles lose to bad teams at home. That's why.
They don't lose to the worst teams in the league, though, at home.
I've seen it a few times.
Oh, stop. All right. So Mike's going to take Carolina with the points and try to mush his team again. You know he's lying through his teeth. Now I'm going to be honest and say the Eagles should win this game 30-10. And because the most surprising thing about the Eagles this year, you know, you would think it would be Saquon Barkley. It's not. It's the defense.
The defense is coming
It's the
together.
defense. The defense is shutting down good teams. They shut Lamar Jackson's Baltimore team down last week. You think Carolina's going to move the ball on them
Without
consistently?
Darius Slay.
Stop.
The average age was 23 and a half.
Whatever.
Is the average age of the guys on defense.
Right. And they've been playing well. So,
and they play like a unit.
And the good thing about when you have young
Good
guys
thing
like
for
that
Vic Fangio. Good for
is
him.
they're flying all over the field. They're flying all over the place. And that's why you're getting the defensive play you're getting. And
how about the man Cooper DeJean, rookie, going head up with Derrick Henry?
And how'd it work? Them young legs, Mike.
Yeah.
All right, next on the list, we got a barn burner. We got a real barn burner. We're going to play music for this one, okay? The Las Vegas Raiders. Though they suck by epic proportions, will travel their way to the warmth and basking sun of Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are 6.5-point favorites at home against the hapless Raiders. This franchise stinks, man.
Yeah.
Every year. They can't get out of their own. They're Jets West. They really are.
All the matriarchs and patriarchs of Philadelphia are happy because they were the first team to beat the Eagles in a Super Bowl. So
it's 8 million years.
I hope they continue to rot.
Mike, you weren't even born back then, Mike.
It don't matter.
Oh my God.
I wasn't born when the Cowboys thing started too. I love what's happening down there.
What do you think about this game? Tampa home, 6.5-point favorite.
I'm going to take Tampa.
Tampa's been very unreliable, though. They've been topsy-turvy. You know that?
Yeah.
I mean, They go beat a good team, they go lose to a bad team. They've had that type of year. And with that being said, I'm going to take the Raiders in the points because I think this game is going to be close and the Raiders might even win it because this is the type of game Tampa loses. It really is. So we're going to do that. Next, we're going to go to the Cleveland Browns at Frankie's Steelers. The Steelers are 6.5-point favorites at home. Likely to be cold.
This is going to be that fucking a typical AFC North game. What's the spread?
6.5.
I'm taking the Browns.
I can't do that. The Steelers just put up huge numbers the last 2 weeks. And Cleveland's yet another bad team. And Pittsburgh, unlike other teams, seems to take care of business against the bad teams. Jameis Winston is an interception pick six waiting to happen.
Yeah.
So with the Pittsburgh defense being the way it is, I would not be shocked if they get two of those. I'll take Pittsburgh and I'll give the 6.5.
I'll give the 6. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if they pull it out. I think it's going to be closer than what we think.
It might be. And next up, I have Payne.
Okay, you having a stroke?
I might. I could. I mean, I'm tired of saying this.
Do it! Get that old ass of yours!
Yeah, and there is no chance.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs?
Yeah, it's not happening, and this is the reality.
No! We suck again!
The New York Jets go down to their own personal house of horrors in Miami against the Dolphins. Sauce Gardner pulled hamstring. Tyreek Hill running circles all over the fucking place. Aaron Rodgers looking 900 years old, though in Miami he may look better because old people like the warm weather. So he may play better there. Miami is a 6-point favorite at home, Mike.
I'll take that 6 points.
You're taking the Jets?
Yeah, why not?
Because they suck.
Sure, but they're getting 6 division game. Like you said, warmer weather. Yeah, they don't have Sauce Gardner. They keep it within 6.
No Brees Hall either.
Ooh. Teases the 7.
All right, so here's the truth. The Jets will commit 14 penalties for 140 yards. They'll be down 4 points. Aaron Rodgers will take them downfield and throw a pick six with 30 seconds left, and the Jets will lose. I'm going to take Miami and give the points because I have no faith in this franchise. I am not mushing them. I hope they lose every game the rest of the fucking way so we can clean everything out, get a high draft pick, maybe get lucky with a quarterback, which will fuck up anyway, but we may as well have a shot at it and, go from there. So I'll take Miami, and I will give the points for the simple fact that the Jets absolutely are the worst run franchise in the NFL. Go Jets.
Go Jets.
Next up, the Atlanta Falcons at the hanging in there Minnesota Vikings. Now, Minnesota had the hot start, cooled off a little, has gotten a couple of wins again now, seems to be back in their winning ways, is likely going to make the playoffs. The Falcons are somehow still fighting for a division because that division in the South stinks. So they're all fighting for the division. Vikings are a 6-point favorite at home, Mike.
I'm taking the Vikings.
So am I. I think Kirk Cousins is half washed and the Falcons defense stinks. And I can't believe I'm about to say this. Sam Darnold's going to cut them to pieces. Wow. Does that hurt?
Segue.
Oh, my God. Does that
Well,
hurt?
we fuck up a quarterback anyway. Look at this guy.
Yeah.
Goes up north.
You know what? Before we move on to other games, I'm going to address your statement. The Jets completely and utterly fucked him up.
Yeah.
They had the wrong coach, Mr. Cross-eyed Adam Gase. They had a terrible line. They had a bad team. They expected him to be the savior. Sam Darnold is talented. He's a good player. Is he a top 3 NFL quarterback type? No. Is he a serviceable top 12 playoff, if the right team's been around him, can win quarterback type? Absolutely. And I said it even when they let him go, that this was completely their fault. They have fucked him up, and now he has recovered. He went to San Francisco for a year, learned from Shanahan, went to Minnesota, got lucky. The rookie got hurt. He got the job. He's made the most of it. The man's going to get paid next year. And you know what?
Good for him.
Don't be shocked if it's the Jets.
Ooh. No.
I'm serious. Don't be shocked.
My dog even thinks you're full of shit.
Yeah, I'm just saying, just saying. All right, next up, the shitty Saints against the bag on their head, despicable, embarrassing New York Giants, who have not won a home game yet this year, and who I don't think are going to.
No.
The Giants are 5-point home dogs. And do you know why they're 5-point home dogs?
Because they told their quarterback to start playing free safety, and then he quit. And now he's in Minnesota. And,
which he'll become great. Watch, here it comes. Yeah.
And there's nothing giant about the Giants.
They are in such bad shape that I'm going to take shitty New Orleans on the road.
Yeah.
And give the 5 points because I don't think the Giants can score at all.
Yeah. I'll give them 10.
I would even give 10. I would tease it to make more money. Yeah. Because I think the Giants are that bad right now. That's a team that's going to have to clean house, Mike. Dable can't survive this. It's too much. If they don't win a home game, him and Shane have to go. Dable and Shane have to go. It's that simple. Yeah. Unfortunate, but the realities of the league. Jacksonville. Oh, this is a great game here. The mighty Jaguar. We're going to play music for this game. Here we go. The Jacksonville Jaguars, without Trevor Lawrence, who's out for the year after being bitch slapped in his head, will travel to Tennessee to take on the not-so-mighty Titans. The Titans are at home and they're a 3-point favorite.
I'm going to go with the Titans.
This is a shit game.
That's a shit, yeah.
With two shit teams. So I'll stick with the home shit as well. I'll give the 3 points.
Yeah.
Yeah. A game for first place. I cannot believe I'm saying this. The Seattle Seahawks are 2.5-point dogs in Arizona at Kyler Murray's Cardinals. Seattle is currently in first place via tiebreaker. What you think, Mike? Is it Geno or is it Kyler?
I really just don't think that much of Kyler Murray. So yeah, I'm going to take the Seahawks. I think Kyler Murray is he's just like a one-trick pony,
He may be a one-trick pony, but he's been pretty good at that trick this year. And since it's less than a field goal and Arizona's home and looking for their first playoff berth since Jesus Christ walked the earth, I'm going to take Arizona. I'm going to give it 2.5 points. Buffalo Bills. What's that?
That'd be good for the Eagles.
That would be good for the Eagles, wouldn't it? Nah, it don't matter. Don't you have a 3-game lead on the West? It don't matter. Don't matter. Buffalo Bills at LA Rams. The Bills are a road favorite all the way across the country in LA. 3.5 points. The Rams are still fighting for a playoff spot here. They're not dead yet. So they're going to come to play. Will Bills Mafia travel all the way to LA? Will the Bills take their foot off the gas pedal because they've clinched the division?
No, they're not, because the number 1 seed's still up there. Kansas City hasn't clinched that yet. You're still playing for something. That bye, now that it's only one team that gets the bye, is huge in the NFL. Unlike any other sport that there is out there. I think I'm going to take the Bills.
You know, I was looking at this game, and it's a curious game to me because if I just went on football reasons, right, I'd have to take the Bills. But then I'm going to account for travel, West Coast. I'm going to account for weather, warmer. In
These
the
guys,
dome.
they do it for 11.
I'm going to account for a defense that isn't as good this year and a team that's getting its weapons back. This is the kind of game where the Bills trip. While the Bills are going to win that division and they're still going to be one of the higher seeds, they're not getting the 1 seed. And this is the kind of game they lose. And I'm going to take the home dog with the Rams. Yup. And that is my cha-ching lock of the week.
That's the lock of the week, huh?
That's the lock of the week. Yep. All right, we move on. The better than we thought Chicago Bears.
I don't know. Did that.
We'll go to San Francisco to the not as good as we thought. San Francisco 49ers. The Niners are on life support. They lose this game, it's over. They have 6 losses.
And it's over. It's over. Bears win.
The Bears, who are still fighting for a playoff spot themselves,
Yeah.
you think the
It's
Bears
over.
are going to be able
Bears
to pull
win.
this off?
I think the Niners are all but done. This
Is
was
Brock
the year-
Purdy still out too? Is Purdy still out?
You can. I think
He has a torn UCL. He's out. I'm taking the Bears too. That offense looked like crap last week. They look terrible.
Yeah. Who you got? Oh, that's the Bears. Go ahead. Yeah, he's out. They don't have anybody else.
Remember what I said beginning of the year about the 49ers, Mike?
Yeah, no, I was in total agreement with you. They had to have gotten a stroke of bad luck.
They were due. They were due
They were due.
for it not to go their way this year. They were due. All right. The Sunday night game is actually interesting. The LA Chargers, 4.5-point dog, going to Kansas City against probably the most unimpressive 12-1 I've ever seen. The Chargers are now a much better coach team, and it shows. Harbaugh's effect has taken effect. You can see that this team is changing its attitude and how it plays. And this is the type of game that Kansas City's going to fuck up. I'm going to take the Chargers and the points.
As much as I would love to say it, I think the Chiefs are going to somehow pull it off. They got the 12th man with the stripes on their side every week. Something always happens that goes their way. I'm taking the Chiefs. I'm not happy about it.
I think you're wrong, so I think you'll be happy I'm right.
Yeah. Hopefully I mush that.
And this Monday night game, I mean, why didn't they flex this game the hell out of here? I'm not going to be watching this. I'm going to be watching the Knicks or watching porn or something. Yeah. I'm not going to be watching this. Yeah. The Cincinnati Bungles at the Dallas mess. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys are a 5.5-point home dog against a team that's 5-7.
They're a good 5-7.
Oh God, their defense couldn't stop you.
Yeah, their defense is god awful.
Pittsburgh put up a 40 spot on them last. I mean, come on.
Let's hope that was a slap in the face that they need to go into Dallas and deliver the same ass whooping. Taking the Bills or the Bengals -1 million.
So I'm gonna piss you off now.
That's fine.
Dallas beat the hapless Giants and then went out last week and beat the Commanders. I don't know why this happens in my life because my life is just football. Football hates me. I'm convinced. Not only am I convinced the Cowboys are going to win this game, I'm convinced the Cowboys are going to win out, including their next game against Washington.
Oh.
And maybe even find their way into the playoffs at 9-8. I don't know why I think this. I really don't. But there seems to be one team every year that you say, they're done. They're out of it. And then they rip off the last 5 games of the year, and suddenly they sneak in at the last seed.
I'll tell you. Hold on. They got the Bengals this week, Panthers next week. So it could very well be 2 more wins. They got the Buccaneers. I don't think they can beat the Buccaneers.
The Buccaneers are up and down, Mike.
I understand. I don't think they're going to beat the Buccaneers. And then now you're talking about a possibility that the Eagles might be still in the hunt for the number 1 seed, December 29th. And the Cowboys will be looking for that last playoff spot. And the Eagles start everybody.
But
I don't even care if they got the number 1 seed locked up.
But what if Detroit is locked up number 1 and Philly's locked into number 2?
Division game, you got to start.
You got to sit Barkley and Hurts if that's
fine.
the case.
Play game on Shipley and start Jalen Hurts for the first half.
Wouldn't that be sweet if Dallas wins the rest of their games and beats you guys the last week to get in the playoffs, and then you have to see them the second round of the playoffs?
With your team.
I really am.
You're that miserable with your team that you got to project that out.
I want misery company, bro.
Right.
Misery needs company. Yeah.
You got your fucking boys on the ice and you got your boys on the court. No.
Yeah.
I got one good thing going for me right now. And you want to take that from me.
I'm taking Dallas and the points in this game. I think the Cowboys win outright.
I hope you choke on the point.
Come on, Mike. We need to have some fun this football season.
I'm having a great time.
It's miserable. It's terrible.
Now you're miserable because your team's terrible. I'm having a great time.
I mean, it's funny. I've been able to give you a lot of crap all year, right?
Yeah.
Starting with the Knicks in the playoffs against the Sixers, the Yankees, the Mets knocking the Phillies out of the playoffs, the Yankees going to the World Series. Last year, the Rangers getting to the conference finals, the Flyers stinking it up. And, boy, Philadelphia has really urinated all over New York in football season.
Yeah, we only got one team.
Both New York teams stink. But I believe they're a combined 5-17. The two teams. Something like that. 5-18, something like that. And it's an atrocity in New York. Like, as you know, I listen to a lot of sports talk, and boy, it is bad. I mean, there is nothing good. And while we're talking football, we got a little more time here. We did the spreads already. Did you hear the Rex Ryan thing going on?
Oh, no. What, that he wants to go back to the Jets? He says he's the only team.
If the man lobbied any harder for this job, I mean, he might as well just have a plane fly by Woody's office with a sign that says, "Hi, Woody, I love you. Love Rex. Please hire me." Right? I mean, okay, so pros and cons, right? I want to talk about this for a second. I'm going to say on the record, first of all, I want Mike Vrabel. That's who I want.
Okay.
I want Vrabel. He comes from winning culture as a player. He won playoff games with Ryan Tannehill as his quarterback. He is a motivational, disciplinary type coach from the Belichick type family. I want Vrabel. That's who I want. However, I will say this about Rex. The last time the Jets meant anything, it was Rex's team.
During the Rex Ryan era.
The last time the Jets were relevant was Rex Ryan. Nobody on God's green earth wants the job more than Rex Ryan. The Jets didn't get bad under Ryan until stupid-ass Woody Johnson fired his GM, Mike Tannenbaum, and hired a schmuck named John Idzik. And this schmuck proceeded to ruin the offensive line, not re-sign guys, let go of Thomas Jones, lose the running game, and thought it would be a good idea if Mark Sanchez threw the ball 50 times a fucking game. And it was one of the stupidest things ever to completely dismantle what had been a two-time championship team. So while I prefer Vrabel, I'm not going to lie. I'm intrigued by a Rex reunion. What do you think of that?
You can put lipstick on a pig. It's still a fucking pig.
You are such a dick. Such a dick. That you can't even let me think of a positive future. You're such a dick.
No, because you listen. If you were sitting there and you were like, "Oh man, Dallas really, they're a really bad team." They got lucky a couple times. Bengals maybe but next week, Carolina, they'll be all right. They'll go in the. We'll be fighting them for a draft pick. No, you're telling me the fucking Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl now.
I didn't say
because
that.
They beat the Commanders. All right.
I never said
they beat the
whoa, on the over-exaggeration. Whoa. I just thought it would be nice if that last December 29th game actually meant something.
And then they still got to play Washington again, and Washington's going to still be playing for a playoff spot.
They could beat Washington. They already did.
That game might be for the playoffs.
Wouldn't that be great if Dallas made the playoffs and in the second round, Philly has to host Dallas in the playoff game?
See, this is what I mean with you.
That'd be awesome. That'd be so much fun.
We'll probably have to host them in the first round.
No, you all right, because you might not have the bye, right?
We might not get the bye.
Might not get the bye, right? Yeah, you're right. As a matter of fact,
who does Detroit real quick?
Let's look at Detroit's schedule real quick. Let's do that.
I got it right here. Hold on. We got Detroit Lions.
All right, so the Detroit Lions. Ooh,
they got the Bills, Bears, Niners,
and then the Vikings.
They win 2 of them games.
So I would say the
home field advantage. Here we go.
The 1 seed is in play for the Eagles. That's not an easy schedule. I mean,
if they could get past Carolina this week,
I think the real thing for them is the Bills game. Yeah. If they win that Bills game, then they're going to coast to the number 1 seed because they're going to beat the Bears. The 49ers don't have a quarterback. They're going to beat the 49ers and then probably sit everybody for the fucking Viking game.
So even looking back, the Lions haven't played anybody really. And I'm not going to get into that.
They got to play the Packers twice.
We did that week
they
1
in Brazil. Vikings. They beat the Vikings already.
They did beat the Vikings in a close game.
They didn't play nobody. All right, time out here.
Hold on,
clown. I'm going to tell you why.
Hold on. They beat the Rams.
Right.
They lost to the Buccaneers.
Right.
They beat the Cardinals,
who might win the division.
It's a dog shit division. Okay.
Right.
They beat the hell out of Seattle again. Dog shit division. All right. They beat the hell out of the Cowboys, which
might make the playoffs.
Stink.
Who might make the playoffs?
And then they beat the Vikings.
Right.
The Titans stink.
Right.
Packers, they won by 10.
Texans are good. They're going to win the South.
They beat by 3. Jaguars are terrible.
And they showed it 52-6.
52-6. And the Colts are bad too.
The Colts aren't bad. The Colts are middle of the road. They're 500 type team.
And what did they say about having 2 quarterbacks?
Oh, you're a whore. Shut up.
Right. And they played the Bears and they won by 3. And
the Bears are good.
A 3 last night.
The Bears are good.
This is where it's going to come down to. And the AFC's number 2 team. Vengeance game against the Bears. They got to beat the Bears at Soldier Field. Niners, that might as well be a bye week. And then they got the Vikings to clinch. They're playing the rest of the season. There's no sitting. There's no, maybe in the middle of that Niners game, they could sit their starters.
Why? The Eagles are going to lose once before then, right? So they'll have it wrapped up into the last week.
We're going to lose to the Carolina this week.
No, you're not going to lose to Carolina. You're going to lose to Dallas.
What if we lose to Carolina this week?
What if you lose to Dallas? Let's go deeper on this. What if you lose to Dallas?
What if you lost to the Patriots again?
We did. We did. Yeah. Come on, we did. What are you talking about? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So what if you lose to the Cowboys?
Listen, if we're gonna
Division
if I'm
game.
gonna- you know what you really need to, you know what? Don't get on it. Don't get on it at all. I don't want you fucking this one up
What's that?
for your state.
What do you mean?
The boys, the Black Knights of Army. It's the only New York team I root for.
It's a New York team, though.
It is a New York team.
West Point, New York.
It's the only New York team. They're playing Tulane for.
So you're part New Yorker. You're telling all your Philly fans now that
They're
you
playing.
got a little New York in you.
They're playing Tulane tonight for the AAC championship. Crazy.
It's unbelievable that Army of all teams, you wouldn't expect the military branch to be good enough to get to a conference championship game. And I think people overlook what an accomplishment it is for Army just to be in this game. It's not like they're recruiting 5-star high school players.
No.
They're just getting whoever joins the fucking Army, bro.
Yeah, and knows anything about a playbook.
Yeah. So
Anything.
yeah, I tip my cap to Army for what they've done this year in the college ranks. And we don't really talk much about college, and college pisses me off a little bit. The game has changed so much now. I mean, the portal, guys making millions and millions of dollars, and it's not amateur anymore. Let's drop that moniker. It's another form of professional football.
Yeah.
And
Semi-professional.
Army's one of the few teams, and this is why it's impressive, that is still purely amateur. They are pure.
Yeah.
They are the Army, Navy, Air Force.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? I'm saying
Yeah.
that the military branches are the
Yeah.
only ones that are truly still amateurs.
And it's usually you see Air Force
Right. Air
Has
Force
been-
is usually the better of them. Right.
the better of them, and then you watch Army and Navy the one time a year, which it's always go Army beat Navy.
Navy will have its once every 10 years. They'll win 6-7 games, make a minor bowl.
Their only loss is to Notre Dame.
Right.
That's one, and I mean I
And
watched that game.
It's a premier program.
Yeah,
It is a professional premier program.
the only team that looks like they played this year, Coastal Carolina. I mean, they beat the hell out of Temple.
Well, Army's not exactly gearing up this big high-level D1 schedule every year.
No,
Right.
no. But they got Tulane this week, and then next week they got Navy for the annual Army Navy.
Navy game. Wouldn't that be ironic if they go beat Tulane and then lay an egg against Navy?
The crazy thing that was going to happen this year, had Navy not lost their second game, they were going to have to possibly play each other twice in a row.
Right.
They were going to play each other 3 times, and it was unheard of. That was the big talk.
Didn't happen, though.
Navy would have to play for the AAC championship, and then the Army Navy game afterwards.
Didn't happen, though.
Thank
So-
God it didn't, because
All right, Mike, we're going to get ready to sign off now. Good show, my friend.
yes, sir.
As we
Sure.
progress through the end of the year, we're in mid-December now. And next time we talk, Juan Soto should be on a team. Should be done. We'll have a clearer view at the NFL. See who's still alive, who's a pretender. Maybe we'll do that next episode. We'll do a little pretender-contender. And we'll see where we're at with 3 weeks left in the season. And we'll
And
see.
if you'd like to, maybe we could do a little. I know you're not a college guy, but hey, we could do a quick pickle.
Yeah, absolutely. We could talk
For a
about the
little
college
bracket.
playoffs and all that stuff. Yeah, for sure.
Just so that we're not talking about where Juan Soto's going.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I'm
well,
tired of it.
because you're not getting them. That's why. Yeah,
I didn't care.
that's why.
I didn't care. We'll get 4 other good guys.
Well, you know what always happens with the Yankees. Come on, no matter whether
Ball
they get
game
them or
over.
not.
Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Turk, your fat fingers again. You missed the button.
I did not miss the button.
We suck again.
That was the one you were trying to hit.
No, that's the jet button.
That was the one.
That's the jet button. You got the
Right.
wrong button there. Yeah. Yeah. All right. The Battle for I-95 has been brought to you by Easy Moving. Moving's hard. Do it the easy way. Servicing Fairfield Removal in New York. For Mike, for Frank, I'm Turk. That's Mike. And hope you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy the football games, and we will see you next time.
Go Army.
I have to agree.
Go Army.
I thought you were going to say the yellow one. I was going to say, but then I bit my lip. All right, guys.
Go Army.
Go Army. See you later.
See you later.